Malignant narcissist and incoherent public speaker, Donald Trump, was invited to eulogize a recently deceased supporter at a large public service. It went exactly as you'd expect. So this one's a bit unusual because it involves two characters other than Donald Trump with which I was not familiar until probably 12 hours ago. And the characters are Diamond and Silk. You may or may not be familiar with them. I wasn't. But apparently they were a pair of sisters, black conservatives who were prominent social media personalities and vloggers, and they were well known for their support and admiration for Donald Trump. Apparently, he's been photographed with them multiple times. They have spoken publicly on his behalf. They are conspiracy theorists, or were conspiracy theorists, particularly with respect to COVID. Prominent, outspoken anti-vaxxers. Here's a lovely image of the three of them celebrating the greatness that is Donald Trump. But tragically, one of the two sisters, the one named Diamond, died just a few days ago. Maybe a few weeks ago, it looks like on January 8th, at her home in North Carolina. And the cause of death, as far as I know, has yet to be determined. Now, they are publicly not vaccinated, which may or may not be true. It's entirely possible, as is the case, we suspect, with many conservative speakers like Tucker Carlson. Even though they profess to not be vaccinated, they may very well have gotten vaccinated and simply just won't claim to be because it would go against their brand. But the cause of death is not determined. It could be a long-standing health issue. It could be anything. But there's a lot of speculation. But the interesting thing is the family, Silk and the survivors, Diamond's surviving family, invited former President Donald Trump to eulogize Diamond at a large public service. And I remember at the time tweeting when I saw this, I was like, oh, geez, that, this is going to be the worst eulogy in the history of eulogies, and I really hope her family reconsiders. Because regardless of how you feel about their political beliefs and their advocacy, which was incredibly dangerous to proselytize anti-vax, conspiracy theories, they may very well have led or contributed to the deaths of others because they may very well have inspired people to not get vaccinated. So it's incredibly dangerous. They should never have done it. And hopefully, if there's any good that will come from this whole situation, it will cause them to reconsider perhaps their views on vaccinations. But regardless, it's tragic that this woman died, and we shouldn't celebrate it. And I say that, but as far as I know, there are no prominent voices on the left who have celebrated it, right? Unlike the right, who are generally ghouls when something bad happens to a liberal or a leftist or a Democrat, like the attack on former Speaker Pelosi's husband, that was mocked and derided by prominent conservatives from Ben Shapiro to Ted Cruz and everybody in between. Elon Musk peddled a conspiracy theory, denigrating the attack. So there generally is an asymmetry. The right, generally speaking, is more inclined to celebrate, mock, or belittle the death or injury of people they don't like, whereas it happens on the left, but not nearly as often. So anyway, if there are people out there who are celebrating this woman's death, they shouldn't, because it is a tragedy. She was loved by presumably friends and family. I can tell you that I have family members and friends who are not vaccinated, and if they were to die, I would be devastated. So anyway, just that aside. But as far as the eulogy goes, the family apparently did not reconsider. They did invite President Trump to speak, and I'm going to play a couple of clips because it went exactly as you would expect. And the clips are courtesy of Ron Filipowski, who says, Trump gives a heartwarming and emotional tribute to Diamond at her funeral, saying countries are emptying out their prisons and mental institutions into the U.S., talking about gas prices, inflation, and the federal budget, and various other things. So let's hear what Donnie has to say.
That, things, we can fix inflation. We can fix so much of what's been damaged over the last 2 years. We had it going so well, but we can fix these things. But, millions of people, I think 15 million people, they say 3, maybe 4. I don't know. I think they have no idea how many people. And they allowed their prisons to be emptied out into the United States of America. They allowed their mental institutions to be emptied out into the United States of America. And Common sense would tell you that if you had common sense, you wouldn't be doing that. Mike would know that, but you wouldn't be doing this. Millions and millions of people are coming, and no country would be able to withstand this. No country, whether you're rich or poor, and we're not really rich. We owe, as of this morning, $31 trillion. So I don't know, you call it rich, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not. We spend a lot of money on other countries, and many of those countries hate us, so we give them money. So common sense would tell you all of these things. Inflation was caused by energy. They stopped the energy, and all of a sudden your gasoline went from $1.87 a gallon to $5, $6, $7. In California, $8 a gallon. And when your baker makes his cakes, and when your hospitals create heat, and all of the different things you need this for, everything goes up, and it's runaway. It's far greater than people thought.
Well said, Mr. President. I mean, so yeah, you can see right now where it's going, right? He used the pulpit basically to litigate his, I don't even want to say he's offering substantive political commentary, because it's not. It's just an incoherent string of like grievances that when he's supposed to be eulogizing someone who's dead, like an actual person. And by the way, sidebar, that $31 trillion debt, which he's complaining about, he contributed 25% of it, a quarter of that debt, in 4 years. 4 years. I think it's the single biggest contribution in terms of raw dollars than any sitting president in history in 4 years, after promising that he would wipe the debt out. So probably shouldn't throw stones in his glass house. But we have a couple more clips that we should take a look at here. Ron says, I can tell you one thing for sure, because he said it himself 5 times. Trump was definitely not expecting to sit through 3 hours of hymns and stories at Diamond's memorial service today. They said about 15, 20 minutes in and out. This is a little longer than 15 minutes, right?
And I don't believe, they told me, I said, give me a little time, because I have a lot of people waiting for me back in a place called Palm Beach, Florida. They said, give me a little time. What do you think it'll take? Oh, about 15, 20 minutes, in and out. I said, well, it could take longer. This is a little longer than 15 minutes, right?
All right, one more. Trump concludes his moving eulogy to Diamond by saying the 2020 election was stolen from him, and Republicans have to get a lot tougher so they can swamp Democrats in 2024 so they can fix the country.
How do we stop the cheating? How do we stop it where you get more votes but you still don't win? And the answer is the Republicans have to get tougher. The top people have to get tougher. And you have to really swamp them. There's a level at which even they can't produce. And so if you win big enough, you're going to get there. And then once we're there, we're going to straighten it all out and get it back to where it was. But I just...
Yeah, so that concludes, again, the moving, scintillating, tear-inducing eulogy to a deceased woman. I guarantee you probably 30 seconds in, he forgot why he was there. Because, of course, the sign that says celebrating the life of Diamond is in front of the podium, so he can't see it. He probably thought he was at a MAGA rally, which I suppose for all intents and purposes he was, since that was the nexus of Diamond's popularity. Diamond and Silk, they were radical Trump supporters. So, hell, for all I know, they thought this was an absolutely, moving, appropriate tribute to their dead daughter, sister, spouse, friend, cousin, whoever. It is tragic. I'll also say in summation, Donald Trump did not win the election, the popular vote or the electoral vote. He lost the electoral count by the same amount that he won in 2016 against Hillary. He lost by that same amount in 2020. And he lost the popular vote by nearly 8 million votes against President Biden. He also lost the popular vote by 3 million votes against Hillary in 2016. This guy's just not very popular. And it'd be interesting to see how how he plans for Republicans to fix the country, given that the recurring theme in modern U.S. history is that Republicans break the country and then hand it off to a Democrat to clean up. That happened with Reagan and George H.W. Bush. Clinton had to clean up their mess. George W. Bush broke Clinton's economy and handed it off to Barack Obama. Barack Obama had to spend 2 terms digging us out of the George W. Bush hole. handed it off to Trump, a great economy, handed off to Trump. Trump drove it into the ground, and now Biden's having to pick up the pieces. So it just seems to be a recurring thing throughout modern U.S. history. But anyway, if any of you suffer a personal tragedy and you need someone to speak at your funeral to, again, pay a beautiful tribute to the deceased, you know who not to call. Hey, you! Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, and I hope that you did, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below. And if you absolutely hated the video, the best revenge for you is also to hit the like and subscribe buttons below. That'll teach me. If you want to share an opinion or share some feedback, go ahead and leave a comment, all right? 2023 is a year of change, hence the aggressive rebrand and commitment to new content. Inspired by my friends Luke Beasley and STV Philly, my personal goal for this channel is to hit 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So I'm hoping you'll do me a solid by spreading the word and the videos to potential fans and hate watchers alike. And in the meantime, we'll be pondering politics again with you very soon.